You have to focus it.
This is Joyce Tice, and I'm here at the History Center. It's June of 2017. Ruth Kovich has stopped in. She's moving out of town and brought in some treasures. Now, Ruth, how long have you lived in Mansfield?
45 years.
And how did you come here?
We came here originally as a student from 1957 to 1961, and then I returned to Mansfield University on the staff of the Home Economics Department in 1966 to 1975.
I might have known you then. I was actually a home ec major. No, 66. No, I graduated in 66. So no, I was a home ec major my first year, but that was 62. Now you have brought in quite a number of interesting things, and you brought in some plates from North Hall, and they all come with a story about eating lunch and dinner in North Hall. So do you want to tell us that story and show us these plates?
Yes, I would be glad to, Joyce. It's my pleasure. This particular plate was served at the breakfast. We went through the cafeteria line, Joyce, and the workers in the cafeteria line would place like eggs here, place like bacon here, maybe place something else here. The plates are divided for the purpose that runny things wouldn't run together. And then we would go out at our choice in North Hall and sit at any one of the big round oak tables. The luncheon plate, Joyce, is the same as the breakfast plate, as you can see, with the divided areas again. And again, the workers would serve us. We would just go through the line, and we had a choice of vegetables and a choice of 2 meats. Again, we had free choice to sit at the tables wherever we wanted. Frequently, groups of friends would sit together, or people that were in classes together would sit together.
So it was kind of informal. For breakfast and lunch, it was informal.
It was very informal. And we had set hours, and we had a little paper meal ticket, and I don't have one of those. I wish I had one of those to share with you. And we would punch, we each had the same number for the whole semester, and they would punch our tickets as we would go through. And we had to have this paper meal pass to get into the cafeteria, which was in the basement of North Hall.
Now, we have quite a few postcards showing that. So we've got that well documented, so it's nice they can go with this to show the whole story.
Well, it's just nice, I didn't want to move the plates with me. I thought they should come to your museum. This particular plate was the dinner plate. Now, formality of the dinner, evening dinner, as I called it, was very, very much different than the informality of breakfast and lunch. We were seated, assigned seated at the big round oak table with 8 individual chairs. We each had an assigned seat to sit at. We had a hostess and host, and they rotated like once a month. Somebody new would be our host and our hostess. The role of the host and the hostess was to start passing things at the table. That formerly the host or hostess would pick up the meat platter and pass it. Vegetables were served in individual dishes, enough for 8 of us at the table. Joyce, that was wonderful times. We had a cross-section of people. We did not have people of our same majors at that table. We could major with people in any area academically that was at Mansfield University. And we really got to know in a semester a lot of different unique individuals.
Was it the same group that you sat with the whole semester?
Yes, yes.
To like a family of sorts. You're eating family style.
It was eating family style, and then we'd have these waiters come out with these huge, big metal trays and bring, seconds for us if we wanted to pass. We never left those tables hungry. I mean, we were always well fed in North Hall. But the real formality of it was we would all go in, and we had to stand at the round oak tables until the president of the university, or it was actually Mansfield State Teachers College, and I graduated in 1961, and that was one of the last classes to be MSTC.
Right.
We had to stand till the president of the university, or maybe a dean of women like Ella Mae Jackson or Ruth Billings would come in, and at the very, very front of the dining room was this long table where all of the formality people would sit, like the president, the dean of women, the dean of men, or his wife, like Dean Long. And, after they were seated, then we could sit down. And I mean, it was very much family style, like you have iterated, but it was wonderful, wonderful times.
And you lived in the dorm.
I lived in the dorm. I started out my freshman year in 1957 on 5th floor of North Hall with 7 other, well, actually there were 7 of us in this huge room. And then by the end of the freshman year, they had broken us down into individual rooms with 2 of us in a room as people dropped out from our class.
Oh, okay.
My class started out in 1957 in home economics with 47 individuals, and 13 of us graduated in 1961. So
did they change majors or drop out?
They dropped out.
Oh, wow, that's a high dropout rate.
Yeah, chemistry was very, very difficult for some individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Some math courses, and they dropped out for various other reasons. Some people didn't want to stay on in home economics, but there were none of my classmates transferred to another major.
Oh, okay.
We just lost them, Joyce.
Oh my, I'm surprised that it's that high.
Mm-hmm.
So you lived in the dorm for the whole 4 years?
Well, actually for 3.5 years, because I did a semester of student teaching.
Oh, right.
In the spring semester, and that was delightful. That was with Polly Richards Woods. Polly was from Covington, and Mrs. Morales, Elizabeth Morales, was head of the home economics department then, chairperson of the department, and she assigned Polly and I to Susquehanna, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Well, Susquehanna was an old railroading town.
Yes.
But my mentor, Betty Hine, my cooperating teacher, was just wonderful. And Vivian Harmon was my supervisor from Mansfield University, and she was just a lovely person. And she would drive all the way from Mansfield to come to Susquehanna and do Milford, PA, and do Tunkhannock and that whole area. But student teaching, my spring semester of my senior year was delightful.
I did mine at Muncie.
Oh, okay.
Muncie, yep,
Mm-hmm.
English.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, you came back to Mansfield, you were on the faculty,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're leaving. And how do you feel about that after all these years?
Actually, Joyce, I leave with wonderful memories because I changed careers. In 1987, I went into the financial world working, so that's very, very much different than higher education.
Oh, yeah.
But I leave with wonderful memories. People have been wonderful to me. It's a very engaging community. I'm very much concerned about what's going to happen right now with the university, but 99% of my memories are more than positive.
Now you're going to Mechanicsburg,
Mm-hmm.
and there are an awful lot of Mansfield people down there in Mechanicsburg.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of my classmates are there. Mickey Kerr, now Owen Cook, who's 99 years old, lives there. He's still living alone. He was up a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's done an interview. You'll find lots of Mansfield people right there, and you're not so far away, but you can come back and visit.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing was I was changing my address with Social Security, and I'm going from the Corning office to the Carlisle office, and I contacted the Carlisle office just Monday of this past week, and a Mrs. Smith answered the telephone, and I said, I'm moving from Mansfield to Mechanicsburg, and she says I was a 2012 social studies major at Mansfield University, but she said, here I am working in Social Security, and I love every minute of it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, is there any, we're getting to the end of this, but is there anything else you would like to leave as a message to your friends and neighbors?
Oh, my friends and neighbors have been wonderful. I just wish them well, and they are wishing me well. Lots of people are saying, I'll miss you, but I will miss them too,
Of
Joyce,
course you will.
conclusion.
Well, thank you for telling us about eating in the dining room. That's an experience that people don't have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ruth, and best wishes.
Oh, thank you, Joyce. Thank you. It's my pleasure.